we all know, this is such an active park in Rybrook. We have so many events, and this tree is just going to be another great addition to Pine Ridge Park. When you think about Arbor Day, I was thinking about this morning. You've probably heard me say over the years that Arbor Day was originated with J. Sterling Morton in Nebraska in 1872. And that just sounds like words, but when you actually think about it, that was to this year, that's 150 years. So that's actually an incredible milestone on celebrating Arbor Day and from the origins until today. And Rybrook this year is celebrating its 40th anniversary. And this is our 26th year as being a tree city for the village of Rybrook. So over half of our time, Rybrook has been a tree city. And we really do live that. You can see we've dedicated public works staff and park staff, and we have an arborist, we have Celebrate, we have a very active sustainability committee, and this is something that we really do live. You look at you look in the front of the podium and you see Rybrook's seal, and you see the tree in the center of it. So we really do, walk the walk there. What does it take to be a tree city? And we should just mention that real quick. You have to have a tree board or a tree committee. And here in Rybrook, we have to, or a department. So we have an arborist, we have a certified arborist, Michael Nowak. We have staff, we have a park staff that dedicates to planting trees. We have a highway department that plants all the street trees as well. We also have a sustainability committee. The village board is a tree appeals board. So we really do have a lot of things that qualify. You also have a tree care ordinance, and we have a very strict tree ordinance in Rybrook. And so we really, we want to make sure that when people remove trees that they also replant. You have to spend at least $2 per capita, and we well exceed that. And in recent years, as everybody knows who plants the trees, we've done a lot of bare root trees, so we're able to get a lot more trees in place throughout the community very quickly, which is wonderful. And you have to have a day like today. You have to celebrate Arbor Day, and that's the last criteria that you have to be a tree city. So without any further delay, so today we have an absolutely beautiful tree. You could say this was donated by Olmsted Tree Service, and thank you so much for your donation.
Thank you.
And this is American Yellowwood. It's an absolutely beautiful tree, and they really picked a special one. Now I'm going to introduce, we have several speakers going to say a few words. The first is going to be, I'm going to ask Greg Rivera to come up, assistant in my office, to talk about some of our sustainability initiatives.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Thank you. That's all I care. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. It's definitely a lovely morning. It's a little windy, but we have a nice sunshine for our perfect Arbor Day. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Greg. I am Chris Bradbury's new assistant, but I'm also the employee liaison to our sustainability committee. I first just want to thank Olmsted again, as Chris said, for their excellent donation for today's Arbor Day celebration. So as the employee liaison to Sustainability Committee, I work very closely with the chair, Bridget Dix, who unfortunately could not be here today. But even though I just started in January, we've had a great experience thus far working together. And actually just last Saturday, as I mentioned at the board meeting for those who were there this past Tuesday, last Saturday we had two great excellent events. We had our seed swap exchange with work in conjunction with the Village of Portchester Sustainability Committee at the Rybrook Portchester Library. That went fantastic. And also earlier that same morning, we also, in conjunction with our neighboring municipalities, including Rye City, Mamaroneck, the town of Rye, as well as Portchester, at various different locations for its honor of Earth Day, we were able to do native planting events at our AJP Senior Center. And again, I gave thanks on Tuesday to all those who were involved. I also just want to reiterate those thanks for all those who made that day successful. Again, the plants look great, and now the Senior Center can also be more eco-friendly than it is. And I just want to talk about just a few of the initiatives that sustainability has helped collaborate with the village on. So just to give you an idea, now I'm sure most of you know about these programs already, but for those of you who this is new for, we have our Healthy Yards initiative. So the Healthy Yards initiative, it's all this is posted on our website, but it gives detailed instructions on how our residents can have more eco-friendly gardens, including putting more native-friendly plants and trying to swap out some of the more harmful pesticides to the environment. We have our Green Star Business initiatives. So that's an initiative for our business owners within the village of Rybrook who are implementing eco-friendly practices, and they'll get a window to call on their business in order to indicate that they are an eco-friendly business, because of course Anytime that we have any of our businesses that are working with us and that we have their buy-in, it makes implementing our initiatives all the more smoother. I also want to talk about our composting site. So for those of you who don't know, at Village Hall, 930 King Street, we have our food composting bins where any of our residents can, rather than throwing their food scraps in the garbage, which of course does not contribute in any way, shape, or form benefit to the environment, they can remove those extra food scraps and we can compost them for the soil. We have the bins, but also we also have a solar one, which actually Chris showed me my first day at the village, which I think is still fascinating, how you can throw it right into the soil and it creates nutrients on the spot right then and there. And this is the final thing I just want to mention because this one's very timely. So Chris and I are just in the final works. The board did approve it on Tuesday, our new agreement for the Community Choice Aggregation Program with Sustainable Westchester. For those of you who don't know what that is, that's an energy bulk purchasing program, but not only does it help control the prices and make the prices fair for our residents, it also promotes renewable energy, not just here in Rybrook, but all throughout Westchester. So we're hoping we continue that partnership for the duration of the next agreement, but also hopefully for many more years to come. And that's it for me, and I'll turn it back over to Chris.
Thank you, Greg. Now I'm so happy. Our village board is always so supportive of Arbor Day and tree plantings and all of our village staff and all the initiatives we have throughout the village. And I'm so happy to introduce our new mayor, Jason Klein.
Once again, thank you everyone for coming out. I'd also like to introduce our fellow trustees, Susan Epstein and David Heiser. And we also have with us representing Legislative Bar's office, Debbie's here, so. And as Chris said, the tree, being a tree city, we take this very seriously. So I'll be short. I'll just read this proclamation and move things along. So whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska and is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of the village, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of inspiration and spiritual renewal, now therefore be it resolved that I, Jason Klein, Mayor of the Village of Rybrook, do hereby proclaim Friday, April 29th, 2022 as Arbor Day in the Village of Rybrook, and urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day in Rybrook's 26th year as a Tree City, USA, by planting trees and supporting efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And be it further resolved that on this Arbor Day, the Village of Rybrook is proud to plant one American Yellowwood tree, generously donated by Olmsted Tree, Shrub, and Lawn Care Company, in a prominent location for all to see in Pine Ridge Park. And I would also just say thank you to Olmsted for donating the tree. It is a beautiful tree here, and I'm not sure you mentioned, but we also do the street trees.
Yep, absolutely.
And which is a great program. So thank you again for all being here.
You want to hand that to the Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and I have a copy for you. Thank you, but we're gonna have to switch it out. I should have noticed it yesterday.
So the mayor just gave a copy of the proclamation, which has a typo, so we have to correct it. But does just hand a copy of the proclamation to Olmsted. So thank you. And now we have some special speakers. I'm going to ask our general foreman, Paul Vinci, to introduce the next speaker.
I'm just as nervous. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Good morning, all. Before I mention who this is, our fifth speaker today, I just want to give a little background on how we were able to pick this person. It was a phone call from our administrator, Chris Bradbury, and the director of public works, / certified arborist, Mike Nowak. He couldn't attend today, so they wanted somebody to speak on his behalf. So I told them I would kick it around with the staff members to see who would like to come up here and speak. So that was a task I had to take. So I took that back to the members, and we kind of kicked it around. And I got a couple maybes. I got a couple of no way. Who may not show up, or who just had a newborn. It's gonna be too tired, and no way, I'll never speak in public. So we came up with a person real dear to us, a great colleague. Any task you give him, he's right for it, digs right into it. So before I mention who it is, what else? What do we got here? Come on. He is our acting certified arborist of 2022. He'll be coming up in just a moment just to speak, to tell us about the tree. Before we do that, you can see how much support we have here from the village. But I just want to give a shout out to his parents here today. That's Mr. and Mrs. Lucille. Round of applause for them. Thank you for coming today. What support did they give their son as well? So I think at this point I kind of gave it up who it is. So I like to bring Joey Chris Lucille, aka Foch, to the podium.
You gotta give the people what they want. Morning. Thank you, Paul. By the way, that was all a lie. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Happy Arbor Day. All right, so I wrote a little something. Don't go far, Paul. My name is Joe Vasile. I'm the Assistant General Foreman of the Village of Arbor. And today I'm also acting Village Arborist. This is a little different for me. I'm usually on the planting end or the removal end during a storm, but never on the speaking end like this. All right, so can anybody ever remember when they ever went to an Arbor Day ceremony, and when it was over, we're like, wow, that was a great ceremony.
Nothing comes
Yeah,
to
me
mind.
either. I'm going to reiterate what they were saying. I'd like to thank Homestead Tree, his crew, Raul, boys, for the donation of the tree, and along with the highway guys to, plant the tree. Okay, what else? For those who don't know, Michael Nowak, he is the village arborist. He couldn't be here today, so I'm filling in. Yesterday, I was also the acting village administrator and the assistant building inspector. So, before I move on to this great tree, you can sit down. I'd like to thank some people today. First, I'd like to thank Michael Nowak for being off today. Everybody know Chris, right? Let's give him a round of applause. So here's a true story, not what Paul said. He sent me an email. Oh, sent us an email. And when I opened it, I was number 5 on the list for speaking. I was actually with this guy. I said not so nice words. And I was like, thanks. And then as soon as they got that, I got a phone call from Paul. He's like, you're gonna be really mad. No problem. I'm here now. Last but not least, Paul Vitzi, raise your hand so everybody can see you. There he is. Stand up, please. He is, sorry. All right. Paul, my buddy, my superhero, Rod Brooks General Foreman. Page 2, hold on. Thank you for nominating me to be today's speaker and arborist. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Paul has also stepped up today. He'll be taking any questions that you may have about anything and everything. And he'll be happy to answer anything you need. He also likes warm hugs, overtime, and village events on Saturdays and Sundays. If you don't get a chance to talk to him, his phone number is 914. That's enough. I'll let it slide for you. Let's get back to what we're here for. All right. The tree that we have here today is an American yellowwood tree. Not this guy, the tree behind me. It is a medium to large sized tree. It'll get about 30 to 50 feet tall, with smooth bark, large hanging clusters of fragrant white flowers, in the clear yellow fall color. The flowers on this specific tree blossom profusely every other year. The fragrant white flowers will a waterfall formation, giving the tree its unique green and white look. Native Americans used the root bark as a dye, and the wood was used to build parts for weapons by early settlers in the southern Appalachians. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you so much. He was done. He turned off the mic. We wanted to end it. And again, we did mention that today's tree was donated by Olmsted Tree and Shrub Care. So we want to invite a representative from Olmsted to come up today. Today with us we have Ken Olmsted and Marissa Della Corso. So would one of you want to come up and say a few words?
It's a bit hard to follow up that speech. But my name's Marissa. We also have our CEO Ken here, as well as the crew that actually planted the tree with Joey a couple days ago.
Good job, guys.
Thank you guys. Olmsted has been working with Rybrook for a number of years. We take care of all the street trees as well, and hope to continue participating in Arbor Day events and planting trees and continuing the Tree City legacy. This was a collaborative effort. Like I said, our crew, the crew here, the mayor, Mike Nowak, there were a lot of people involved. I sent a short list of pretty good species to pick to Mike Nowak, who forwarded it to the mayor. He actually chose the species, so very good choice. It is a very unique tree that you guys have here, and I look forward to seeing it blossom every other year like it does uniquely, and seeing it kind of thrive in this area. That's really it.
Thank you so much.
We're happy to be here.
Thank you.
And I'll be perfectly honest, I actually ran it by some of my staff as well. they know it a little bit better. I'm very pleased to introduce two people that just joined us. We have State Senator Shelly and State Assemblyman Steve Otis. So do either of you want to say a few words?
What is really great about Rybrook is that every year we have this ceremony and we go to a different location and we plant a tree, and we have a great public works staff that backs all this up and makes sure that these trees not just get planted but survive during the course of the year, which maintenance is important. But we live in a community in Rybrook and Westchester where trees are important, where nature is important, where the beauty of where we live, where we recreate is very important to everybody, and the village of Rybrook does a great job protecting those resources. So great to be here. Shelly, why don't you come and say something as well? And one thing that we fight for in Albany is trees. And I'd say one other thing, in November there's an Environmental Bond Act that is very important to pass, and we had a lot of flood damage in Rybrook, in Ida and in other storms, and there's a lot of money for storm resilience and the kinds of things to protect us in that Environmental Bond Act. So, little heads up for November. Shelly?
Thank you. Great to be here with a tree. I mean, really, we don't always have good days in our jobs, and planting trees and celebrating Arbor Day is one of them. For years, I looked for money in Albany to plant trees, so anytime there's an opportunity to plant and celebrate, particularly after Ida, I really celebrate it. So thank you for having us. I'm glad if I can put a shovel in the ground, I'll be happy.
And thank you both for your continued support of Arbor.
That was a perfect lead-in. So now we're going to have the ceremonial planting of the tree. So if all the officials can come up, and our special speakers, of course. Come on, come on. Steve, Shelly. Sure, go grab a shovel and a little dirt, and hold on, wait for the picture.
How about you?
Get the shovel. Shelly, here you go. Yes. Here you go, Shelly. No, I'm good. I'll join in. She'll organize it. There you go. Everybody look up. Look at Fred, I guess. Fred.
We switch sides here.
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Action shot. All right, the action shot.
Very nice.
And we have this picture to send.
Yes. Yep.
All right, they're ready.
Thank you all for coming. That's the end of the ceremony. Please enjoy the rest of the day and have a beautiful weekend.